On the last episode of Force Options Training, I interviewed Brian, who had attended a BJJ Cops seminar in New York City. After talking to him, I decided I wanted to see it for myself and attended the 2-day Law Enforcement Survival and Combative Tactics course held recently in Epping, New Hampshire. In this episode, I sit down with a fellow participant, JC, to debrief day one. So I'm sitting here today with JC. We're actually just sitting because we can't really move, but we're here today. We're currently in lovely Exeter, New Hampshire, which actually is a quaint little town.
Very nice town, actually.
A little bit closer.
Well, a nice town, beautiful town.
Good. Anyways, we are currently attending the BJJ Cops Law Enforcement Survival Combative Tactics course. This is being held, it's a bit of a joint event with the Hybrid Wolf and BJJ Cops, and it's being held at the Sig Sauer Academy in New Hampshire. So we're at the mothership here in New Hampshire. So I thought today, this is day one of two, we just do a quick review of what we did and what we think we can get out of today. So I'm gonna pass it over to JC. What's your take on day one?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for having me on the show. I'm honored to be here.
The honor is all mine.
I'd like to thank and make a shout out to the Wild Boar Social Club for making this possible.
Yes, our sponsor. You received a shirt for doing this today.
I did.
But that is the only endorsement that you got.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been on too many, several courses, but in the States is a new thing for me, and always in my mind, you really have to understand the purpose of that course, especially when you go down to the United States, right? And a lot of policing is connected. Right? Someone in a blue uniform does something down in Tallahassee, it's going to have impacts up in Cranbrook or northern BC. It's going to happen. There's always a connection there. That being said, the United States is a different entity. I don't know if you know, I'm actually a dual citizen.
That's true. Yep.
Dual citizen. Father is from the States. I have citizenship. I grew up on a border town, so I like to think, a pretty deep connection to the States.
Yes, you do. And you speak fluent American, by the way. Just
when
letting everybody
I need
know.
to. I'm often used as a translator when it's required. For this, so with that being said, you come to these courses and you really understand. You need to understand why it's going on. What social incident occurred that's spurring this training? What's the background of the town you're going to? What's the background of the host who's running it? It kind of paints the picture as to what the training is going to do. Especially over the last 4 years, a lot of this training, ourselves included, has changed because of the social landscape, and it has a big part to do with it. So,
and a question to you: would you say that you knew exactly what we were going to be doing when we came on this course?
If I knew exactly what we were going to do, I would have been, at least at a minimum, less excited to come down for this trip.
Yeah, it was. We knew there was some stress, inoculation. We knew there'd be some shooting possibly because Sig Sauer was providing the pistols and the ammunition. Thanks, big shout out to Sig Sauer.
Thanks, Sig Sauer. They're great.
They're
beautiful
actually,
facility.
Yeah, beautiful facility.
Cool.
They're taking care of us. There's a couple of reps from Sig Sauer on the course as well. So yeah, we were taken care of quite well. But yes, going back to that.
No, I had no idea what to really expect. I expected some kind of physical stimulus, and maybe running into scenarios after you were stimulated, trying to calm yourself down. As to how they were going to get that stimulus going, yes. I did not know. I did not expect the level at which we endured and survived today.
Yeah, it was awesome. So just for anybody, just for the listeners out here, because I think this looks like the first time, or at least recently, going by their website, The BJJ cops have run this type of course. And again, it's a collaboration with Hybrid Wolf. I was suspecting definitely some mat time, which we did. So day one, we started on the mats. And then after lunch, it was on the range. And it was shall I say, for a lack of other word, it was a ball drag.
Oh, boy.
But in a good way. So
it was very good. It was good. It was terrible. I
right.
wouldn't want to do it again, but it was extremely beneficial.
Oh, 100%. Without giving too much away, I mean, we got hooked up with heart rate monitors, and we put them to work.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And I guess, if I thought more about it, if I dove more, did a little bit more research, a little more digging, could have anticipated where the day was going a little bit. I didn't know. It's almost better not knowing.
Yep.
Yeah. We were just going to let whatever happens. Even going back to one of the co-partners of this program, the Hybrid Wolf, right? It's the name itself deliberately is a step in a different direction than the sheepdog, because they have a different viewpoint on how police officers and policing should be. And kind of what they stated was, the sheepdog, yes, honorable, smart, strong, right? Protects what it has to, protects its sheep. But the Hybrid Wolf, has elements of hunter, right? Being that a predator, and the same instincts and attributes as what we're hunting, right? Just like the predator that goes after the sheep, you have to have a few of those instincts, that drive to hunt, that drive to know violence, know when to apply that violence in order to protect the sheep. So if that's kind of the background of what you're walking into, you can expect that their expectation is, hey, if you're going to be this Hybrid Wolf, there is an expectation on you being that wolf and how you're able to deliver that product for the sheep.
No, very good. And just to not scare everybody off, like this day one, awesome.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
I highly recommend this course to everyone. Just be prepped.
You know what? I am going back and forth over the day. I barely remember the mats because of how intense things got. And the mats were great techniques. And again, we'll talk about that. But I am more proud of what I was able to endure and what they allow you to do under the conditions they give you. Like, you walk away feeling like, wow, that was really difficult. That was really challenging. I wouldn't choose to put myself through that. But despite that, performance was there. And you were able to do what you needed to do. And so I'm walking away, a little sore, limping a little bit. Nothing Advil can't fix.
That's right.
But ultimately, actually very proud of what you and I and everyone else on the course were able to accomplish. Very proud.
Yeah, 100%. And we're coming in from Canada. Most of the guys and gals out here are local, different kind of states on this eastern seaboard. Everybody brought it, and everybody just kind of melded together as a group. So that was cool. There was some shooting. You're doing some rounds. You're doing some circuits to get the heart rate up, and then you're getting right into it. And so, beginning of the day, they talk about and show some sample heart rates from one of the guys running it, going to an actual call and looking at how your heart rate is, and then where you're at, and then how it goes up and down. And you can see it. They have a monitor, kind of an iPad set up, and if you're looking when you get off, you can see and watch where your heart rate is and how quickly it's going down, and so good feedback.
And it's really important to note that this isn't a fitness course. I mean, fitness has a major part to do with it. I wouldn't consider myself, fitness. What are you fit for what, right? People are fit for different things. I wouldn't consider myself a long-distance runner. I'm a short-term power kind of guy, but I can get things done. But I was by no means the top percentile of fitness on this course. And it didn't matter. What they were looking for was for you to exert yourself, push yourself as hard as you could. The heart rates, how high it went, that wasn't their concern. They were concerned with the variability, so the distance between beeps. They were trying to see how hard or how high they could push you and how you could bring yourself back down to do what you had to do despite the stress you were enduring.
Yep. I think the big thing you said, you hit a nail on the head on that, is a lot of it's you and it's enduring. And one point I thought that was good, that was Eamon from Hybrid Wolf. We talk about when somebody's under stress, they lose their fine motor skill. Whereas really, like for police officers, for the most part, even though we're under stress and our heart rate's up high, we are able to pull the trigger, which in a sense, he's not wrong in saying that is a fine motor skill. Definitely the untrained are not going to be able to do that fine motor skill under stress. But we do have, if we train it, we do have an ability to do some type of fine motor skill under stress.
And then to your point, we get to the academy. Obviously, we're coming in from Canada. It would have been a few more steps to bring our firearms down, our own personal issued firearms. Sig graciously allowed us to use theirs. The academy, wonderful academy. I can't say enough about it.
No, it's beautiful.
But part of it was also, hey, we're going to add some assault rifle components to it. Here,
yep.
Use one of ours.
There it is.
And I have, my own rifle in Canada, different model, different make. I've never fired this firearm before. And I'll say it was pretty interesting getting handed a new firearm under stress and be like, hey, figure this out. And then off you go. So you got to test some new skills, how you carry, your hold, the safety even.
Yeah. The transitions from strong arm to weak arm and doing that on the move.
That's right.
While you're firing. Yeah.
Hopefully you're out there, you're in the range often using whatever tools you have, being proficient in your craft. But I know I have a number of tools and I'm not out there as much as I should be. And so even getting this tool, there's things that I've done that, like, okay, we're going to switch from your right shoulder to left shoulder, back and forth.
Usually in a more of a static position when you go into the offside shooting, yeah.
And that wasn't a motor skill that I had practiced a lot, not to that degree. I've done it once or twice here or there when we need to, but you add that stress to it. What I found was, even though it was new, the firearm was new, the skill was relatively new. If you control that breathing, you bring yourself down, you're still able to work through it. If you have that kind of that schema a little bit, like I knew firearms, I knew rifles. Even though I didn't use this one, there was still enough there for me to navigate it. I don't know if you found the same.
Yeah, I found just for this one, the only thing I found different was where the placement for the safety is on it. Because usually, I know it's just different than the one that I have, my carbine. So I found myself sometimes having to use the other, not just my thumb, to, especially on the offhand, like when I flip it over to my left shoulder and then manipulating that. Especially when we're on the move, we're tired, we're moving it. So I was just getting it done, because every time we did a shot, they wanted it on safe when you did the transition. So now you're adding that into the mix as well, right? So
sure, and that's another major component too. Doing this course, there's a lot of training that's very, maybe I don't know if it's American based or East Coast based. I'm not sure, kind of where that training comes from, but you're being told things, you're doing a new skill set that maybe you haven't practiced in your department. And now you're like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll step up to your standards. I'll figure it out.
Let's do it. So that's kind of like covered off the afternoon portion. That part was kind of run by Hybrid Wolf. So that was Sergeant Ayman Kafel, and then Jake, and I'm going to add the nickname The Punisher, Mahar. Mm-hmm. And they ran that portion. So I'm going to kind of circle back to the morning. So that was the BJJ portion was run by Brennan from BJJ Cops. I think most people would know him if you follow the page. And then Ashley Cummins, who is a former or current MMA fighter.
Instructor. Yeah, sensational instructor.
Very good. She's, I believe, now out of San Diego, so Bellator fighter. And there was a couple other local jiu-jitsu black belts, which were really good too. They even let in a fireman.
No, a whole fireman.
Yeah, but he was pretty solid.
He was all over it.
He was all
54 years old.
Yeah, turning 54, BJJ black belt / firefighter, runs free classes for
absolute unit
for police and stuff. Man. Yeah,
inspiration.
100%. All right, so we started off our warm up, and I'm not going to go through everything, but a lot of this, and learned this a little while ago, or a kind of version of this, and I've been liking it a lot lately. And it's kind of that Russian tie. Person pulls in there because we started for escort grip, which again, on the last episode when I interviewed Brian, who did the BJJ Cops seminar in New York, I'm big like let's start from escort grip because that's where 90% of our encounters start from, right? So it starts from escort grip, and what do people do? They pull their arm in. So we did that kind of Russian tie, and he showed some kind of slight variation to it that I found proved what I already known, and that was just like a finger or how to turn your thumb upwards. You're gonna have to come to the seminar or come to a seminar to get that. But what I also liked is we did some things from there and to get people into handcuffing position, and then we did that single officer and double officer. Two officers, which is good. I mean, our agency, we do 3 person or 3 officer training just to get that involved, and I think it's super important, especially where you have numbers and you're working in partnership. We did that, which was cool, and then we did some other things off the ground. So the turtle position, that was kind of both Brennan and Ashley did that. She had some kind of wrestling. Her, at least what she was talking about was, you try one, doesn't work, well, let's have different options. And she works kind of cycle kind of based on some wrestling techniques from there, like some ankle picks. But the one thing I think that, at least for me, like, because I've done the Russian tie and I love the Russian tie, but I'm going to definitely add the little bit of the little change, the variation needed to it. But man, I've been seeing on their Instagram page where they drops the knee, sits the person down and takes them to the ground. To me, that's similar to a sacrifice throw, which I love to do, and I've full disclosure, I've done it on the street, but I wouldn't teach somebody if they don't train regularly to do that. But that version of it, so easy. Again, you're coming from behind, and how he sets, because I thought, okay, I saw that, and I actually tried it before I came down here, and just having somebody sit down on the knee, I love the position they end up in. But then I was like, okay, what's the entry into it? And when you did that entry into it, I was like, oh, I like that.
No, absolutely. I don't have an enormous jiu-jitsu background, so not concerned. I can move around, learn pretty good, typically. But I had some concern. You're with all these black belts, these high-level guys, and you're like, okay, well, man, I hope they don't expect me to be able to do X, Y, Z when I walk in the room, but because keeping with traditional jiu-jitsu welcomes everyone at all levels. There's a progression, and obviously the instructors will see what level you're at and be able to instruct you from where you're at that time. Very welcoming, very understanding. Traditionally, most of my contact martial art control tactics comes from police judo, and I love it. It's saved me on the road. I used it all the time. Now I'm off the road now, but it was great. And so I was trying to figure out, okay, what's the difference? I know jiu-jitsu is very different. Police judo is very, hey, let's try to stay on our feet. Jiu-jitsu, I understood, you're on the ground a lot of manipulation. But what I did find was very interesting, and which was explained during the course, was, it was recognized that the ground isn't the best place to be for a police officer. You have your belt, you have your gear, you're rolling with someone, don't know if there's weapons, other subjects. It's not ideal for a police officer. And they addressed that. But they gave these techniques and principles that were like, hey, most fights go to the ground. So if you can go to the ground, go there safely. Controlled manner, also where you can control the subject, where you have that care and control. And also, if you're on the ground, it's good to know a thing or two about basic principles. You're not going to remember it all, especially under the stress. There's countless techniques, right, where you can learn. You're not going to remember them all. So if you have a few, there's only a few they give you here, with the time that you have, they are things that are simple enough that you're able to, okay, I could probably do this. I'm probably going to take this home and remember it. It was pretty straightforward, especially with the judo background already. Wasn't too far removed.
Well, I guess it was interesting because at the beginning, Brendan says, I'm not going to teach you jiu-jitsu. And it's true. Like, he's teaching you concepts kind of based on jiu-jitsu. probably even there's some wrestling in there or whatever, but he's not teaching a formal jiu-jitsu class. Like you're not laying on your back, you're not mounting, and he had a good point about not even taking the mount if you don't train, because if you don't train, you can get thrown off. Now you end up on your back. I'm big on kind of the knee on belly, which they're doing. You kind of touched on it, as they did account for duty of care in there. So there was nothing there that we did today that we couldn't take back and do it, because it kind of meets that duty of care. Another one I really liked was there was one point when he, again with a partner, and when one partner controls the arm, and then if somebody takes their arm away, and he kind of moved to, it was almost like a reverse single leg. So he scoops the leg, gets it back from behind, and I was like, oh man, what's he gonna do? Single legs are, if you're really good at them, you can do them. When you're just starting out, they're a little difficult, and you're usually doing them from the front. That back single leg where he grabs it, I'm like, where's this going? Like, how's he going to? And then he just walked the person forward. I'm like, damn, that was so easy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to do that now.
Yeah. I mean, the question came up, what if you get this injury? Like, it's a vulnerable spot. I mean, you have so much control over the subject.
100%. Yeah.
You're guiding how quickly, how hard they're going to the ground. Yeah. You're talking to them. You force them in a position that makes it biomechanically advantageous for you, less for them.
Yeah.
And it wasn't difficult.
No,
it wasn't difficult.
Yeah.
And it's not these do this and then do that and do this and do that. And you're sitting there thinking, oh, what was that first step? They're pretty simple, gross movements where if you remember the principle, if I have the leg up, maybe you don't do the technique perfectly, but maybe I grab the leg, it's up. Okay, and we just push forward and there you go.
Partner's got the arm and down they go.
Yeah.
And they have a free arm because they took that one away. And again, that matches, even though we're going to the front, which is a higher risk in terms of a takedown, but they have that free arm to control their fall. And as you say as well, we have total control on them when you're doing it. So another really good takeaway that I had on the day. To sum it up for today, day one, because I always like to look at takeaways. Already, like in my mind, I'm thinking of some things that we already do, maybe just change to introduce option B, because I always love giving people like, hey, you got option A. If that doesn't work, then it's similar, like nothing but here, just try this. So for that different, like, okay, somebody pulls in the arm, you got option A, you got option B, option C. I don't like to overload. Well, maybe now you got option D. Here's some other things you could do from here, and if you train it, I think I'm going to start kind of introducing that.
I think so. And you brought up, the instructor there, the Bellator fighter, she had a word for that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but she called it a chain.
Yes, that was wrestling chain.
Wrestling chain.
Thank you. I couldn't remember what it was.
Well, we're, plan A doesn't work, but it's okay. Don't panic.
Yeah, you're already in this position. Just here, try this.
Yeah. Plan B didn't work. Okay. Yeah, you're on the streets, dynamic. It's raining, didn't expect that. It's cold. Okay, I know I go from here, I can do C. And you're breathing, you're calm because you're trained, and you're working through the people puzzle.
In terms of the mat stuff, like I said, you want to come, you're probably going to want to hit up a seminar or just go out and train. That's always good, especially if your agency offers you some free training.
Definitely.
Now, in terms of some of the takeaway from the afternoon portion, and this is something that you can do, is just put something together that when you're doing either training or even if you have the opportunity on a range, if you can set it up, do a little bit of stress inoculation prior to doing the shooting. Get a little circuit. It doesn't have to be like a big circuit like we did, but do some push-ups, do some squats, do some burpees, whatever. Do a couple of quick sprints and then start putting yourself through the paces.
Definitely. I would say, do enough to make your members a little uncomfortable. Just a little uncomfortable. Just something out from the norm that's going to push them a touch more. And the closer you get to that stress point and you calm yourself down, you deliver what you have to deliver, the better it's going to be.
I think good words to end by for day one here. Well, JC enjoys his cigar, and we nurse our tired muscles for a little bit, and we'll take this up after tomorrow for day 2.
Can't wait to update.
Thanks again to JC, and we'll be breaking down day 2 in a future episode. And again, a big thanks to our sponsor, Wild Boar Social Club. And you can follow us on Instagram at Force Options Training.